Okay, so this one is all about trigonometry, this video. And so what you've got to do is, if you read the question, we've got to look at length BC. So we're looking at this question here. So the first thing you do on all trigonometry questions is you identify the sides that are involved in this question. Now, if this is the angle, this here is going to be the opposite. That's not involved, that's a blank side. So this one here is the hypotenuse, and this one here, the one that we're looking for, is the adjacent. So using the SOHCAHTOA, S-O-H-C-A-H-T-O-A, the one that we're going to be using in this question is CA, because we're looking for the adjacent and we've been given the hypotenuse. So if you cover up the A, it's going to be C times H. Now what that actually means is cos of the angle, so that's going to be, so the adjacent equals cos of the angle, which is cos 24, times by the hypotenuse, which is 50. Then you do that on your calculator. So you do 50 times cos 24. You should end up getting, if you do it to one decimal place, 45.7 degrees. Well done if you got that one. Okay, next. This question we're looking to find AC, which is this one. So again, if we label the sides, here's the angle, so this one's going to be opposite. And this, the question mark, that's opposite the right angle, so that's going to be the hypotenuse. So we're going to be using SOH. Now we are looking for the hypotenuse. So if we cover up the hypotenuse, it's going to be O divided by S. So O divided by S, so we're going to say that the hypotenuse equals O, which is 23, divided by S. Now S means sin of the angle, so that's going to be sin 20. So on your calculator, it's 23 divided by sin 20. That gives us 67.2. Sorry, beforehand I put degrees. It shouldn't have been degrees, should it? It should have been centimeters. So 67.2 centimeters. Okay, next question. We're looking for BC, so that's this one, which is the opposite. And we've been given the adjacent. So for the SOHCAHTOA, we are going to be using TOA. Now the one we're looking for is the O. So if we cover up the O, it's going to be T times A. So I'm going to write the opposite equals T, which is tan, so it's going to be tan 65. And if your calculator puts it in brackets, make sure you close the brackets before you do times by 16. So 16 times tan 65, that gives us 34.3. So the opposite equals 34.3 centimeters. Now the next question is kind of different because we are looking for an angle. So if this is the angle, this one down here is the opposite. This one is the adjacent. This one's the hypotenuse. So we're going to be using CA. Now here we are looking for the angle. If we're looking for the angle, it's the bottom right, so bottom left that we cover up. So we're going to say that cos of the angle. So if we put cos of x, that equals A divided by H, which is 13 divided by 21. Now, whenever you're looking for the angle, and you've got cos of x equals something, the way we work out what the angle is we've got to do cos to the minus 1. So it's going to be cos to the minus 1 of 13 over 21. So on your calculator, and if you do inverse cos, and then if it's in brackets, do 13 divided by, or as a fraction, over 21. You should end up getting, if you round it properly, 51.8 degrees. Next one, question 5. It asks you to work out angle ABC. Now, A to B to C makes this angle here. So that's the one that we're looking for. So if we call that one X, 7 is opposite, and 18 is the hypotenuse. So O and H is so. That's S-O-H. Now we're looking for the angle. So we cover up the bottom left. So we're going to have sin of X equals the opposite divided by hypotenuse. So 7 divided by 18. And just like we did above, the way we work out the angle is we do sin to the minus 1. So x equals sin to the minus 1 of 7 over 18. So inverse sine brackets 7 divided by 18. And we get 22.9 degrees. Again, well done if you got that. Now, this is how the questions are more likely going to be asked. So we've got to work out length CD. So there's a bunch of information here. We might not need all of it. We might need all of it. But what we've got to do is we've got to decide which bits and pieces we need. And it will try and trick us by chucking in information that we don't need. So we've got to look at length CD. Now we've got an angle. So if we have a look at that triangle BCD, we've got 50 degrees. We're looking for this, but we've got no other information. This 20 doesn't relate to the triangle. We've got 3 and 9 over here, but that doesn't relate to the triangle. So we've either got to work out what this length is, which is this one on this diagram, or this length to help us. Now, if we have a look here at triangle ABC, what we've got a right angle triangle with 3 there and 9 there. Now, from the session that we did before half term, that's a triangle with 2 sides. And you've got to work out the other side, which is not trigonometry, Pythagoras. So that's going to be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, the thing to remember with Pythagoras, of course, is that c is the longest side. So that's going to be c, and then the other two are a and b. So put a and b there. So a squared is going to equal 9. B squared we don't know, so you're just going to leave it as b squared. C squared is going to be 9 times 9, which is 81. So b squared equals 9 plus b squared equals 81. So to get b squared, we've got to get rid of this plus 9. So we take it away. That's going to be 72. And then we square root it. So we do square root of 72, which equals 8.49. So this is 8.49 centimeters that we've just worked out. So now we know that this side down here is 8.49. And now what we've got is we've got a question just like the previous questions over here, where we've got a right angle triangle. We've got this side over here, and we're looking for this side. So if we've got the angle 50 here, then the 8.49, that's going to be the opposite. And this one over here, the question mark is going to be the hypotenuse. So we're going to be looking at so. Now we're looking at the hypotenuse. So if we cover up the hypotenuse, that's going to be O divided by S. So the hypotenuse equals O, which is 8.49, divided by S, which is sin of the angle. So sin of 50. That could be, if you've done it, if you've still got it on your calculator, we've got the correct answer for this, which is actually 8.48528, so on and so forth. If you just do that, divided by sin 50. And you end up getting 11.1 centimeters. If you did 8.49 divided by sin 50, you get 11.08, which is still 11.1. So either way, you should end up getting this answer here. It's a little bit trickier to see, but that is usually how they ask the trigonometry questions. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So we've got a bunch of information here. Let's have a look at the question. So it gives us all this information, which we can just see from the diagram. The question is work out the length of PR. A PR is just this length here. So what they've done is they've got this triangle here. This right angle. This is 8 centimeters. This is 64 degrees. And they want us to figure out this one here. So all this extra bits and pieces here, we don't actually need it. So it's, again, it's one of these questions where they give us so much information to try and trick us. All they want to test us on is whether or not we understand what it is that we're doing. So if we're looking for PR, so PR, that's just this length here. So we don't need to know the other stuff. So let's go back to doing trigonometry. So if this here is 64, this is going to be the opposite. It's going to be the hypotenuse. Again, SOH. So we're looking for the hypotenuse, so we cover it up. So the hypotenuse equals O, which is 8 centimeters, divided by S, which is sin 64. So 8 divided by sin 64. And that gives us 8.90 to 3 significant figures. Notice that would be 8.9, but because it says 3 significant figures, we need to make sure that we've got 3 digits. So it's going to be 8.90. And that's it. Well done if you managed to get all of that correct on the homework.